Hi everyone, my name is Tasha. I work with Richard Uganda, and I'm here with the beautiful lady. She'll tell us her names, but as you can see, she looks very beautiful and she's very cool, by the way. And we're at the SRHR conference. It's happening at Misty Hotel. It's the Uganda National Conference on Human Rights, Health, and development.
Correct.
Because when we're healthy, the country can develop. We can develop as human beings as well. So I'm here with. You can introduce yourself.
Good afternoon. My name is Achieng Akumu. I am the Africa Regional Director for Planned Parenthood Global, and I'm a Billi Advisor. Let me own that. Thank you.
Are you
thank
a
you so much
Billi?
I'm a Billi Advisor. Billi, I am a Billi. At heart, right? But if you age constraints, right? You know what I'm saying? Yes.
You're a Billi. You're youngish,
I'm a Billi Advisor. Let's just leave it at that. Yes, but I am definitely yes.
Yeah. So we have the Billi Advisor, and I think some of you are wondering what Billi is.
Yes.
Would you want to tell us what Billi is?
Sure. The initiative that we have, the movement is so appropriate because that's what this conference is about. It's about movement building. It started in Burkina Faso. Billi is about 1 billion young people in charge of their health, their culture, and their destiny. And we say Billi Now Now because they want to exercise their culture and their health rights now. Right now, not tomorrow,
not yesterday,
and not yesterday, but now, as you so eloquently put it yesterday in the pre-conference exercise. Yes, yeah.
We want to change now.
It's an urgent need. Okay,
it is.
Because the numbers just keep increasing in terms of maternal morbidity, teen pregnancy, gender-based violence. So there's a need that this is not something that you can say can be done at a slow pace.
Yes, at a slow pace. And we are here at the movement, and it's basically about, we're here at the conference, It's basically about movement building.
Yes.
We've seen the SRHR movement. The SRHR movement has been there for a while. And maybe young people don't actually know what their role in this movement is. What is the role of a young person in the SRHR movement, in the BNN movement? What is their role as a young person?
Well, it's exactly like what you are doing, what you did yesterday, okay? It's to have voice. It's to speak up in those spaces.
Yes.
It's to let institutions, agencies, and other people know what the needs of young people are. Okay, not to interpret, but to give you space. So that you can realize your rights and your future, but through an educative process, okay? Because it's really important. Because when you talk about rights, with rights come responsibilities, okay?
Sure.
So, health rights are important. Young people, the thing that continues to shock me that we're still in 2023 is this lack of information. And now with the technology, there's a lot of misinformation
out there.
And so there's need. So what organizations like Planned Parenthood Global do is really to number one, inform young people, so you have accurate information, so you can access quality information and quality care. And then secure. We're Planned Parenthood, let's put the planning in it, plan for your future.
For your future.
Okay, so that's really important because in every other sector, there's planning involved. Why not health for young people?
Yeah. So basically, if you're healthy, you're going to thrive in every other aspect of life. You're going to thrive in whatever you want to do, because if you don't have an early pregnancy, you don't have an unsafe abortion, you're going to actually thrive.
Correct.
You're going to go to school, you're going to work. Even if you're out of school, you're still going to know that I have a future.
Exactly.
Though we really advocate for you going to school, but we understand there are instances where you can't be in school.
Well, you heard the story, young lady, of the Hope.
Yes,
I love that she also has her name, but she goes by the name Hope. Her story really touched me yesterday because here she was ostracized by her family.
Yes.
Again, her family didn't inform her. She didn't know. She found herself pregnant, and yet, she had to face terrible consequences. However, from that, she learned.
Sure, yeah.
And she has stood herself up, and I think I heard her say she could complete her master's program.
Yeah, she did.
Her master's program, and she's raising her child.
Yes.
So now that's there's no need for that happening in 2023 when the information is out there, the resources out there, and if the resources aren't there by the government, then there's need for you to say so. As we've heard about the great collaboration here with the SRHR and the Ministry of Health, at least there's that dialogue. that is taking place with regards to availing resources.
Yes.
Okay. Now, the financing of them may be a different thing. Yes, development partners come in, and I think, it should not be thought of as sustainable, right? We want to build sustainability. However, we have to do that in partnership with governments. Yes.
So you talked about something nice, like money. You talked about finances. You talked about, we want money. I want money. Yeah, everyone wants money. So you talked about money, and we're talking about young people.
Yes.
And we're talking about them making informed choices. And yes, we shouldn't assume that there is information and everyone gets it. No. There is still an urgent need for information, but accurate information.
Correct.
And it needs to be broken down to the different languages young people understand, to their different, we meet them where they are.
Exactly.
Exactly. If it's a young person living in disabilities, how are you communicating to them?
Exactly.
How are you talking to them? How do they feel involved?
Exactly.
It's very important. There is still a lack of information, even access to services. Services are very expensive.
Yes.
Very expensive
commodity.
Yes, it's really, really expensive. And then here I am as a young person. How am I going to have money to go to to maybe a facility to get the contraceptions I want to use, maybe an emergency pill, maybe condoms and whatnot? So finances, we realized, is a very important key. So I don't know, should we then re-strategize as the SRHR movement, as the BNN movement? What else are we bringing on the table to do with economic empowerment for young people? Because it's very important. At the end of the day, if you have money, you have power. There is a whole power dynamic.
Of course, and you can live your life,
Yeah.
So this is very key in terms of our strategy, the long-term strategy. We heard from the beginning in the Sahara Desert when we stood this BNN in Burkina Faso. This was not a priority. Family planning and access, safe access delivery. They said, we want jobs. And in that corner of the world, migration is the issue. Why are they migrating? Because they want jobs. They need to secure their futures and their livelihoods. So we're very cognizant of that. And in Kenya, we have partnered with NILAB. I think you've heard of NILAB. Yes, exactly. And the idea is that they bring social enterprise into this exercise. So they have training courses and what do we call it, educative models for young people that have entrepreneurial skills, social entrepreneurs, but it must be anchored in SRHR.
Yes.
And that's the whole goal. You know what I'm saying? And so that's an experiment we're doing, short of trying to secure private sector to, create internships or to provide some support for young people's future. And that's a big issue in terms of the economic prospects of
young people
once they've secured their sexual health. Okay, so then what? So it's really important that we're looking to continue to partnering with some other social enterprise organizations or private sector, so that young people can get the training, relevant training. So that they can secure livelihoods. That's really important.
Yeah, it's very important. When you have money, it's very empowering to have money. To know that you can actually get this, to know that you can actually get whatever you want.
Exactly.
Because in most cases, young people are cornered to these different SRHR issues because of lack of money.
Yes.
The early marriages are happening because families want money.
Exactly.
There is a GBV issue, but then the parents would rather the man pays some money to the family and they don't follow this issue up. And then there is this young girl who is now married at just 16 years, and you feel like your dreams are crushed totally. Like you're helpless.
Correct.
Yes. So we have this conference that.
Let me just piggyback on that. So this is why we need to get SRHR into more than just the health and education, but also into the economic sector.
Economic sector, yes.
So that look, we saw it with the Asian tigers, right? As they were growing their economy, they were training their young people so that they could be educated, but then come back and work in those jobs. We're not necessarily doing that in Africa. And so let me just say, at least in the African countries that we're working in. And I think that's really important and that's very key. That, as leaders and government is going out and creating new economic opportunities, they should keep in mind the young people. Because, that is really a critical issue. We're back to brain drain again. This morning in the plenary, we heard about doctors, right, that have been trained in Uganda. But because salaries have been reduced, they now go and work overseas. I know in the US, the top experts, oncologists and whatever, medical experts, are all African, particularly from West Africa. Okay, so that is going to continue with this migration, call it brain drain migration, and especially young people, especially young people.
Because I want better.
Listen, you're seeing it online. I think you said it yesterday. You're seeing it TikTok, this, that. You're seeing a better life. You want that life.
Like, I want that.
Why should you suffer? And particularly in countries that we keep hearing about the resources that are available, and you're just like, okay, why get a piece of that?
Yeah, how would tap into that? Yeah.
Yes.
So it's very important. I think we should, like, as a country and the different countries where this movement is, like, we should think about the young people, because we don't want a situation where young people are coming up and they're still leaving the country to go elsewhere. We're going to have so many unqualified people. You remember that lady who talked about her story about how her kid was overdosed?
Oh my goodness.
And they died.
That brought tears to my eyes.
That was so
this
sad.
morning.
Yeah, it was very sad.
Thank God she knew, somehow connected to say heard.
Yes, and then she got justice, but like still,
However,
I've lost
she
my
lost a child. And as Professor Ben said, it's no success to say there are fewer deaths. There should be no deaths.
No deaths at all.
That's the goal.
Yes, that's our goal.
You know, so so that really matters. You know, when you talk about young people leave, hey, you know, there's criminal enterprise that becomes more attractive.
Yes.
If your back is against the wall and you can be enticed to just do this one or two criminal enterprise. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you know, this needs to be an alternative looked at by all policymakers, so that, you know, youth are incorporated, you know, educated, so that they can be part of the economic growth of our country.
And meaningfully involved and trusted.
And meaningfully involved.
And we need to be trusted.
Exactly.
We feel that we're not trusted as young
Exactly.
people, you know?
Exactly.
And we need to be meaningfully involved. We're given spaces, but you're not trusted to lead a panel. Yes, I could have my fears because I'm a young person, but you're in that space where you are because you are given an opportunity as well at one time. But then, like, you're not trusting me as a young person to actually do something. We learn from our mistakes. Mentor me, guide me.
Exactly.
So that I can actually do better. But not totally pushing us aside, and then you feel like you're so young, you can't do this, you're so young, you can't say that. Like, it's really frustrating.
I can imagine, and the need for mentoring, nurturing there's nothing new that needs to be done here, right? We've said it's information sharing, you know, skill building, capacity building, and mentoring and nurturing, and that's what we do through this Billi Now Now movement, is to make sure that young people can meaningfully engage with policymakers, cultural leaders, religious leaders about their needs.
Be at the forefront, young people being at the forefront.
But culture, you know, I mean, respectfully while disrupting,
yes,
right? Because, you know, if you don't, then the status quo will be maintained.
Yeah, will be maintained.
So those are the skills that we need to continue to build. Foundation.
So, being the fact that you're in this conference right now, how do you see this conference, you know, benefiting the movement? Because we have had of so many learnings and whatnot. How does this, you know, give a good foundation for the movement in Uganda? You know, for the SRHR movement in Uganda. You know, the SRHR space in Uganda is complicated. Someone yesterday said it's choking, it's frustrating, it's stagnant. So how do you see this for young people? How do you see them, you know, transitioning and being part of this and actually leading the movement in Uganda from this conference? How do you see collaborations and partnerships? Because there is an issue of collaborations. People want to work alone. People want to work in silos. People don't want to. You know, we have this movement of young people. How do other people tap into it? And then we grow the movement together as a collective. Not you doing your own thing, the other side, I'm doing my own thing, you know?
Yes. That's I think it's spaces like this that I appreciate the honest conversations. Okay, and the fact that people said it's stagnant, and you've had people that have grown up or grew the movement, like, you know, you heard the Salome, and other speakers, and Bakshi, and then even the Honorable MP.
MP is tired. She's just tired.
Well, you see, now there are people like that are ready to hand the baton over. Now you've witnessed them, and I think it's really, really, for me, it's just wonderful to see that they are being honest and critiquing the movement, and I believe because these are all passionate advocates, activists and feminists in here, that the recommendations will come out strong. Now it's the follow through. Okay, it's the follow through. Enough of talking about the problems. We know them all. We know them all. But how are we going to do things differently? Now, I think this conference has shown a different way to collaborate. I mean, because this is Ministry of Health supporting. very much SRHR in the lead, but SRHR recognizing always the need for youth to be a part of this journey.
Yeah, this journey.
Okay, a critical. Listen, we heard Dr. Mulumba's story yesterday. You know, from the beginning, how he thought as a student to where he is. He's not the only one. There's so many.
There's so many of
others.
us.
There's so many of
There's
you.
so
There
many
you
of
go.
us.
You heard Penelope. She too. She wants to be a P. You know, so it's that. It's that. It's the nurturing. It's the mentoring. It's the pushing that door open. You know, young people, when you have the skills and you see the opportunity, push that door open. You don't wait. I always tell the people I work with, don't wait to be invited. Take your seat at the table. You know, but make sure when you're at the table, you're saying something sensible. Okay, you know, you're pushing an agenda, the movement agenda, not your personal agenda. Like Dr. Ben said, okay, you know, that's that conversation there. But for the movement.
For the movement.
Yes, exactly.
For the future, for the movement, for the future.
For the future, exactly.
You know?
And we need to make sure that those things are done systematically. So conferences like this are very important, are really important, because as we heard from everybody, the last one was they couldn't even remember. Yes, the work is being done, but then we're not informing each other about the work. We're just reporting to other people.
Like the Nambe Declaration, very few people knew about it.
Yeah.
We did this something that was done last year, almost a year.
Imagine.
No one knows about it. True. Exactly. Working in silos, no.
No, it's no longer acceptable. Honestly, that word should be dropped. And honestly, it's all about collaborating, team building, and engaged across. Yes. Your style, you know, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. So this is just, we're talking about young people, and, we celebrated World Contraception Day yesterday.
Yes.
And the theme was power of options, young people having the option, knowing that they have options to actually abstain, use which kind of contraception, because when you have options, you have power.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, you have power.
Choice is very cool.
You have choice because, if I'm not choosing this, I'm using that.
Yes.
I can choose what is best works for me. That's a lot of power.
Correct.
So, as Richard Hand, we have an event today. It's called Power of Options, where we're going to have young people talk about the contraception and also break the stigma around contraception. Yes. There is stigma, there is misinformation, a lot of misinformation out there. So we're just talking about options and having a choice, having the power to make a choice. And this is going to just be out of the blue. But what would your preferred condom flavor be? If you're to use a condom, which flavor would you want it to be?
No, I don't believe in flavors when it comes to natural.
So you're more of a natural person.
I'm a shea person. Okay, so let's call it shea, whatever shea, coconut oil. I love coconut shea. Yes.
So
yeah,
it should be coconut flavored.
Yeah, I guess so. Yes.
I actually like coconut, but I've never thought about it being a flavor for a condom.
Yes. So you asked me, so there we go. Okay. Yes.
Then the next thing is
my children will be mortified.
Be like, Mom,
yes,
that's why you look at the coconut? That's why you look at the coconut in the house? No. Yeah, so
yeah.
Another thing, when I say something, you tell us what comes to your mind first. This is still about
okay.
Contraception.
Okay.
Sex.
Safe.
Nice. That's nice. Breasts.
Oh, I just had a mammogram.
Hope you're safe.
Yeah, thank God. Thank the Lord. Yes. Yes.
And your next month is cancer awareness.
Exactly. So that's many words. You said a word. So mammogram, but that listens to that exactly. Women should get them.
Checked.
Regularly. It's not just.
It's very important.
It's
very expensive in this country.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the other word. Let me see. Engaged.
Advocacy. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We are pushing for young people to be at the forefront of advocacy in this movement.
Correct.
BNN movement.
Absolutely
exactly.
Correct.
So think about engaged, think about advocacy, think about meaningful engagement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Meaningful engagement.
Yeah.
But the advocacy never needs stop, because otherwise the backsliding that we've seen happens, because of policies and politicians. And so it's really important that the advocacy is always at the forefront. Yeah, always.
Yeah, because I think we've seen a great deal of change with advocacy.
Yes.
Who knew that persons with disability could have like, a say.
Oh yes.
And be, even have a language, be respected, have policies for them. That's very
most
big
definitely.
change.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's really huge. It can't really be undermined at all.
No, not
Yes.
at all,
Then the very last thing, let me see. I had my interesting questions here. If you had a superpower, imagine you had like superpowers.
Yes.
And you had a superpower, like in that, and were related to promoting SRHR. If that superpower was in relation with SRHR, contraception, access, what would it be, and how would you use it? What would you use that superpower for, and what would it be?
I just, it's okay. In my previous life, I worked a lot in conflict prevention, conflict spaces. So the superpower would be to help heal. I love the theme here in the beginning about healing, because you've got so many young people in these conflict-prone areas that have been defiled, raped, you just name it. And so the superpower would be to heal, to make sure that these people get all the social counseling that they need, so that they can become honorable, respectful, contributing citizens. I think that's something that we neglect, and there's not enough financing resources put into that. The social cycle is always mental health. Thank God people are talking about it
now.
But that would be the healing that is needed, and especially for young kids. I remember when I worked in Liberia. I mean, all these kids knew, these young people were this, I don't know how many years of war. And the interventions and programs weren't really addressing that. And you had these young girls that thought, yes, it's okay to transact for sex, yes, because that's all they knew.
Normal.
It's normal. And then the abuse, that's normal. And
it's just continuous.
It's just continuous. And so we can imagine what's happening in these conflict-prone areas. And I really, really don't sleep well at night worrying about that. Having lived through, I don't know how many coups in West Africa, I just really worry about that, those areas, be it South Sudan, you just name it, that you've got a generation, young girls, well, they were kids, now they're women. What's their lifestyle going to be?
I know.
Yeah.
And I think what I take out from this conversation is actually healing. I know it has really come at the last moment.
Yes.
But it's very crucial, it's very key, it's actually very important. When you heal as a person, you're able to do so many other things. But if you're
but particularly as a woman, because we're childbearers. Okay, so so that healing, our bodies do much more than what men's
bodies do. I know.
Yeah, exactly. So when you've been abused and that's all that. So when you've been abused and it's abnormal, then what does that do on your mental health?
A lot of trauma on your body, on your soul.
You've said it.
God, we
so
need
that would
healing.
be my superpower, the healing. I love that as the theme. And I think it's really, really important for people that have seen atrocities, witnessed.
Heal all of you.
Amen.
And we pray for healing.
We pray for healing. No, we need it. We definitely do.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.